Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And John Nemitz.
And David Lauer. And this here is a show where we talk about loves, things we hate, things we're indifferent to or ambivalent, torn apart, the gray areas in life, things we're on the fence about. But before we get into any of that stuff, we're talking about old topics, things we've that should be dead and buried, but we're gonna dig them up. Because this is a few days before Halloween, so maybe it's spooky. But anyways, this segment's called the Deja Fuse. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so you know how sometimes you do stuff and it makes you feel old? I found like the opposite thing where I've mentioned I've been doing like genealogy and family research stuff, and I went to a genealogy conference and I was like the youngest person there by like 30 years. I felt like um some sort of weird youth amongst the everybody else. Um, was pretty bizarre. But yeah, if you think age is scary, then consider yourself spooked.
I do. I do dread it, so wow.
um, but at that conference, some of the stuff that I think about, like people not having social etiquette or whatever, like I don't know if this falls into that, but just like I thought post COVID that we would like stay home when we're sick, or
Oh, wow.
like
Okay.
at least like wear a mask if you're actively coughing repeatedly, but nope, people don't do that, I guess. So that kind of bothered me.
Yeah, that was like supposed to be the one good thing that came out of COVID was like, if you're sick, stay home. Don't cough on me. If you are coughing, wear a mask. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's from like, you young people are like, I'm gonna live forever. But old people are like, I'm on the way out anyways. Who gives a fuck, you know? I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. Um, yeah, that was really all I had to say about that, but I was pretty annoyed by it.
Well, you know what? I do want to talk about the elderly eventually but I don't know how to word the topic. Part of me wants to say just because you're old doesn't mean you're wise. So it might be a little controversial. I don't know.
That's a
Uh,
good topic. I have one thing where I went to something where everyone else was really old. My father-in-law, he was out of town and he wanted me to go to the courthouse where like on this random Tuesday morning they were going to hold an auction on like houses that were like repossessed and they didn't pay their taxes and they're like run down like dumps of houses that no one lives in. So you could like buy like a really cheap plot with like, a junky house and then renovate it and he wanted me to go to this auction. So like I show up there and I'm, 37 years old. And everyone there at this auction, they're all like 65-year-old boomers with probably lots of money because they've made so much money off the housing market themselves. They're looking for another investment. And it just everyone's this old person. And I'm like, I felt so out of place.
Do
I wonder.
you do you think they were like, oh, they're onto something, like the wisdom of these old people to get to this thing and get these good deals and make this investment? Or is it more like these guys with too much time on their hand?
I feel like it's people with too much time on their hand, but also too much money on their hands. Are the people that are there?
Well, they finally have the money and they finally have the time, you know? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
I don't know. I have like an adjacent topic to this, but I don't know like what it's like old people who have like property, but like they don't sell it to their family. but like you're just gonna die and then it'll go to them in 4 years. So why don't you just give it to them now and then they could use it? But I don't know.
Yeah. We don't know the relationship, if they're even close, maybe. I don't know.
He's talking about his family and giving him the property.
No, my dad actually gave me his will on like what I get when he dies. That thing's been in my cupboard for like 4 months. I've not opened it. I don't want to know what's in there.
Whoa, that's crazy.
I don't know. I'm like, I'll wait until the day comes, then I'll open it. So then I'll be like, oh, damn it, I should have opened it sooner.
Yeah, like expired concert tickets or something.
Like, Dad, I didn't know. I was like, if I would have known this was there, I would have talked some sense in you when you were still around.
So yeah, I guess future topics more about the elderly. I
Yeah, I got a
sense.
lot of complaints.
All right, let's get the show started. Or wait, segue challenge. Or wait, no.
No,
we don't. No,
let's get
yeah,
the
that.
show started.
All right, let's.
Vince, why don't you kick us off?
Okay. Ooh, boy. It's either my mystery, which I still haven't decided, or it's my hate. Let's go with my hate. I hate pyramid schemes. I was invited to, I don't even know how it was worded, but John, you were there, and
I was there.
Brett and Matt possibly. I think Jesse might have been there. I don't know. But basically we were invited by someone that we knew, and so we just assumed this like this friendly thing. Like I said, I don't remember what got us there in the first place, but what do you know it? These two guys wearing, shirts and ties, they got this big piece of paper, and they start pitching us this idea. And it was so, oh my God, it was so embarrassing, not to be there for me personally, but I felt embarrassed for them because they're pitching to a bunch of cynical kids. Like we were like, what, 20, something like that.
Yeah.
We were
like
cracking wise a lot,
Yeah.
or just kind of, and so we have two people trying to pitch the product. One is like this thin young dude in like really nice clothes or whatever, and then the other guy is like this older middle-aged dude, kind of frumpy, you might say. I don't know, but one is pretending to like be the slick operator. It's like, now this is what's going on here, and the other guy's like, hold on, you're saying this, like you got to talk to us on our level, right, guys? And we're like, what? And it was an interesting thing, but so flawed, to pretend that the middle-aged guy was on our side and the other guy wasn't. It was a weird tactic. But the funnier thing was that the guy who invited us there, he was basically a button in the crowd where he could stand up like, hold on a minute, you're saying this. It's like he was a bad actor. It was so bad. I remember him acting in our play in elementary school, and I thought he has not grown since.
Did he have the same role as like suspicious audience member?
No, wait a minute. Yeah. But it was just so cringy, and I felt it sucked too, because don't want to get too into too personal information, I guess, but the guy that invited us was got in trouble before, where I was like, didn't I hear a rumor about you trying to steal from the school, like back in middle school or some shit? Where I'm like, I thought I heard that about you. So it was so weird that he was trying to pull a fast one on us,
Yeah,
I
like
don't
he was
know.
always like into the like make a quick buck kind of scheme, and whether it be illegal or in the gray area of life.
Yeah, so I don't know. Okay, so the best line that I heard, though, and it lives with me to this day, it was from Brett, who was part of the crowd, part of the targets. And they're like, what do you think, Brett? And he's like, I gotta get this right. I'll see it when I believe it.
It's
Like
like
we
some
all
Yogi Berra shit.
like it was a like I understood what he was trying to say, but like that's Brett for you. I don't know. At least he wasn't falling for the bullshit. That was the important part, you know. So yeah, what do you guys say about pyramid schemes?
Well, I'm confused. What were they trying to sell you?
Oh, it depends on what they were trying to sell.
Well, no, because I know there's lots of different types of pyramid schemes.
Oh,
What's some sort of like elixir, right? Like a
yeah,
drink,
maybe IKEA berries or something. I don't know. It was something like that.
like a health drink, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I got invited to
Probiotics, maybe?
a mysterious party one time, and I didn't know what it was, and I showed up. Like I got this invite, and it was from this girl, and like it was like my ex's younger sister, and she invited me over. She said there's like this group thing. There's going to be other people there, and I was like, I immediately just thought like, oh, this is like a church group. Because when I thought group, I'm like, it's a church group. I'm like, I knew she was going through a tough time in life, so I'm like, whatever. I'm like, oh, it's on a Wednesday night. It sounds like a church group kind of thing. So I go over there, and then there's a bunch of people who are all like college age, and there's like, all right, we're gonna have everyone watch this video, and then we're gonna talk afterwards, okay? So I'm just like, okay, whatever. I have no idea what I'm gonna watch, and I'm thinking it's gonna be like, oh, maybe they're like some kind of church, you know? And it's like immediately it's just like a commercial, and there's people with a giant blue sign, and they're like, you could be here, and they're on like a beach, and there's like lawn chairs on the beach, and they're like, or you could go here, and they're like in Paris, and they're trying to sell like vacation packages. It was for a company called World Ventures. And basically like the pyramid scheme is, if you can go on like these, it's like different timeshares basically that they own, and then they want you to sign up for one. You can go on these vacations. You just got to tell them so many months in advance, like what days, how many days you want to be there, and you get it for a cheap discounted price. And then the more vacations you go on, the cheaper it will be, the more times you go on vacation. But it's like, oh, but you have a job and you can't just take tons of time off. Well, that's how we can get you something for cheaper. If you get your friends to sign up for it and they go on vacation, it'll count towards your account because it all, goes downstream or upstream. And so I'm watching this and I'm like, this is total bullshit. And I'm like, my friend who was there, she has like a 1-year-old baby. I'm like, she does not have any money. And they're like trying to swindle her out of money. So I was pissed watching this thing. And then at the end of it, like, I'm just like so ready to say, no, fuck you guys. Let's get out of here. And somebody else, and Vince, you just confirmed it, because I've always thought this entire time that this guy was a plant, and I accused him of being a plant in front of everyone, and they all looked at me like I was being an asshole, because he was like, oh, I love it, this is a great idea, I want to do this, I just have one question. He's like, I don't have all the money to pay the $350 up front. Can I just pay $50 tonight and the rest in a couple of weeks? And they're like, sure, that'd be great. We actually have a plan to do that. And it was like all this canned shtick. And I was like, no, 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 no. Because I didn't buy it for a second. Lots of people did though. And I'm like, it's fine if you're going after people, and you want to get their money and investments. Whatever. If people are bad at investments, that's on them for making poor choices. However, you do not target like elderly people with no money, and you don't target single moms who have no money. And like, there's certain people you don't try to financially take advantage of. And like these multi-level marketing schemes, they don't care. They don't discriminate on who they're trying to screw over.
Right. In fact, they target the most vulnerable people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'll occasionally run into someone, or like at work, sometimes I'll have different coworkers or I'll change jobs, but you'll run into someone who's like, oh, I take this thing. It's they don't try and pitch you the idea, but you get a good sense that they're currently in a pyramid scheme. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll post on Facebook a little product, and I'm like, oh, you're part of it. You're in it. That sucks.
Yeah, what is like Nutralife or something, that herbal tea or something like that, where like it gives you energy, and there's like tons of lawsuits because it gives you like liver damage and kidney damage.
Oh
Whoa.
shit.
Herbal Life, I think it's called Herbal Life.
No way, really?
Um,
Shit.
yeah, and there's actual like every town has like a little tea place and they sell Herbal Life, and it's a huge
Well,
deal.
shit.
But like,
My in-laws are big into just using those products. Like one of their friends sells them or whatever. Like, if they're actually dangerous, I should look into that because
they
Whoa.
are just, you can see it
wow.
on Wikipedia. There's a bunch of lawsuits, and like I've drank them. They're delicious. They're so
Oh
freaking good.
no.
Like I love them to death, but like they're not good for you. So it's just like it's like a caffeinated beverage, like an energy drink, but like better. And it's like I feel like there's like drugs in it or something. I don't know. It feels amazing when you drink them, but yeah, I guess they're really not good for you. There's a lot of, you can go on Wikipedia, and then I'm sure you can go down a whole rabbit hole of the bad stuff that's in it.
Yeah, that's horrible. I will be looking into that. But hey, Vince, that event that we were at, the one thing I remember, and I could be misattributing who said what, but I'll just say it how I remember it. They were showing us this image, and they're like, this isn't a pyramid scheme. We're literally turning the pyramid upside down. So I said to them, so it's more of like a funnel scheme? And then I think it was you, Vince, who were like, yeah, emphasis on the fun.
What?
Oh.
I don't really remember that, but that's funny though. Yeah.
If I was there, I'd be like, it almost resembles a toilet bowl. All the shit sinks to the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious on like how, like, those two guys are clearly in on it, right? But like how deep are they? Are they, or are they, does it start with them? I'm wondering, because they had lines, they had these scenes already cooked up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like clearly, they were going to get a percentage of whatever was sold, probably a higher percentage than what our acquaintance would have gotten. Um, yeah, who knows? I, Looking back, I feel bad for his parents because like they were around and we were just like openly mocking everything that was happening.
Oh my God. Yeah, I feel like we were just cracking jokes the whole time. Oh my gosh.
Except Brett, who was like, we just like, I feel like we just didn't care and we're cracking jokes, but he was like angry, it seemed like.
Yeah, why do I want to say it was at his house? Was it? No?
I thought it was at the guy's house who did it, but maybe not. I don't remember.
Oh man, I don't remember. Well, anyways, yeah, it was so odd. That really, and I do feel bad for people who are stuck in those things. It's more common than I thought. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like the whole model where you have to like buy your inventory, and then like if you can't trick your friends into buying it, you're just like stuck with the cost basically.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Segway challenge.
I've got a offer you can't refuse on this next topic, but I need you to get your two friends to come up with topics and then pass them back to me.
Well, whoever wants to go next.
I'll go. I am, no, I'll go. I hate something that might be sold as part of a pyramid scheme, which are anything that's like storage or like organizational tools, like that's their only purpose is to like help you organize things. I feel like they just like take up more space than whatever you were trying to store. Um, the big example I can think of is that my wife really loves the concept of packing cubes for like in your suitcase. So you take all your clothes and you put them in this thing, this cube, and then you put the cube in your suitcase. But I'm like, that cube is now taking up space by existing. So I'm able to fit less stuff in my suitcase as a result. But in general, like she's just like have you heard of the Container Store?
No.
Like it's a
No.
place dedicated just to storage and organization and everything. And that's like her jam. Like she loves everything in that place. And I just like hate it all.
What about the roly poly? You guys remember that?
Oh, I kind of
Remember that
remember
product?
that. Yeah.
It was like a tackle box meets a sleeping bag, right?
Could be.
You would unroll it and it would have all these departments in it and stuff, or
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
compartments. Sorry. Yeah. That looked cool. I probably would have bought that, and that was probably a pyramid scheme.
It's a fine line between as made for TV product or as seen on TV products and pyramid schemes.
You know, like the plastic storage containers that you get, and you know, you put like your decorate Christmas decorations in it, or just random stuff that you have in storage that you don't know what to do with. Like those containers, you fill them up with a bunch of stuff, and then they end up like bowing out from all the stuff on the inside, and then the lid will no longer fit on the top, or like the side will like start to crack because it's made of like cheap plastic. Um, and like inevitably they have some that are clear, but like you can't like which one is this in? You're looking for a specific item and you got to tear through like four different containers before you actually find the thing you're looking for.
What's that thing I saw where you basically vacuum shut, right? Vacuum seal stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, my wife has some of those too.
Oh, really?
You put like
Those things
blankets in there or whatever, and they do take up significantly less space, I will say.
those things are awesome. Like your clothes are super wrinkled when it's done. But they are pretty cool. I got like four different bags for Christmas one year, and then it was just like there was a attachment, like the hole on it where you put your vacuum up to it, and I was just like, all right, let's see. And I put like my a couple jackets or something in it because it was probably like springtime by the time I actually started to use my Christmas present. And then I just hooked up the vacuum to it, and it just sucked all the air out and it shrunk it. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Because then I could just, you know, basically it's like freeze drying some food or something where it just sucks all the moisture, or sucks all the air out of it. And then now it's like tiny and I can just throw it in the back of the closet and it takes up less space. That's one of the few things that I think are good. And then also I have like in my garage, I have like pegboard where I have like pegs that go in it and you can hang tools on the wall. And that's like it's like with storage, you always kind of want to go vertically because you only got so much, you know, square footage on the ground. So like to in storage and putting it up vertically as high as you can go is like the best way to go.
Do you have them all outlined in ink so that like when the murderer is in your house, you look at the pegboard and like your hacksaw is missing? You just see
No, but
the
that's a good
outline of it.
idea. Yeah. So that way I know where every wrench and my hammer goes.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get a Sharpie and I'm gonna do that.
As someone who likes to rearrange furniture, I would hate that. Like, well, maybe I don't feel like the chainsaw should be there all the time. Oh, you know what I like though? Furniture that you can open up and put blankets in and shit like that, or like coffee tables that open up, you know. There's cool storage stuff like futon, I think. Yeah. Those are cool.
That's true. We do have storage underneath our bed, and that's pretty nice. But you know, it's just like you shove stuff in there. You're not trying to like organize it. I think it's the organization thing that bothers me. Like if I want to like dig around in my bag and be able to grab the thing I'm looking for, not like grab a bag out that I then have to open and then dig around in that bag to find the thing that I'm looking for.
Speaking of storage, I bought this plug-in USB thing for my laptop, and that's like you know, I was like, oh, you get what you pay for. I should buy this, and it has so much storage that I don't think I could ever fill it with anything. like because I bought a storage thing before and it was like, I don't know, $60, something like that. And I could store some of my work. But then I don't know, something was happening and it was filling up and it was flimsy. The cord seemed like it was gonna fall, but fail. But I bought this thing and there's so much storage. Like now I'm just gonna be like putting anything I could come up with, I guess. Yeah, it's crazy. That's what I thought you were gonna say, John. Yeah, computer dude.
Oh, I hate computers.
All right, segue challenge.
I
Perhaps?
got one more thing.
Oh my gosh.
I got one more thing to prove John's point. I have a like
Yes.
I was going camping and I have a small camper and there's like a pass through on like the bottom side of the camper where you just store like random like outdoor items, like if you have like a small cook stove or chairs or just any random thing that you would need to bring camping. And I was talking with the other guys there, and we see like you're in a campground and you're looking at other campers, and you're like, oh, they have a bunch of storage containers, and I have some storage containers, but like the storage containers don't help anything because if you have your stuff in storage containers, you have to like if you need like the second or third one in, you got to take out other storage containers first. So then you're gonna have to take everything out, and they're like they found that like the best way to store stuff is to just throw stuff in there. Just it's like the trunk of your car. Just lay it out, spread it out, and then when you need something, you just grab that thing. Because if you try to take everything and put it into a box, you're just creating an obstacle to getting it out.
Yeah, and I guess the stuff you use the most is probably going to tend to be closest to the front because you probably used it recently.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one more thing. The wallet. Okay, so I have a wallet here and it's fat with cash. No, it's not at all. I don't even carry cash on me ever. It's so weird.
I don't
But
even have cards in this thing.
yeah, I do have some cards. But I like how this is put together. However, I've seen commercials about basically a money clip, but you could also, yeah, it's a money clip, but you could put your cards into. Maybe that's what you could do with money clips anyways, but I don't know. Would you guys do that? It seems weird it would be like naked almost, like, oh, here's my Visa, it's weird.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just holds cards, and there's like it's like an elastic band with like two plastic slash metal pieces on the outside. And there's like a money clip thing on the outside where you could put some cash, but I wouldn't put like I feel like the money just always falls out unless you have like a fat stack of cash in there. But I have it and I
Which
just put
Vince
cards in
would.
there. Yeah. Like I just put my cards like driver's license, insurance card in case I get into a car accident, and then, like credit card, debit card. But at the same time, I don't like putting all of my cards in there because if I did lose it, I don't want some thief to have like four different credit cards. So it's like I kind of just have bare minimum stuff in there in case I did lose it. Because that's if the reason I like it is just because it's small and it's compact. But it's because it's small and compact, you could also it's easier to lose.
Yeah, because the wallet has, how long have I had a wallet on me? It's been a long fucking time. But, it's kind of bulky and I don't know. I don't love the wallet. It's just something that we have. So I would wonder if I would feel looser and more lighter with just the clip on me, you know? I don't know.
You can also get thinner wallets. I have one that's made out of like carbon fiber. They call it like sailcloth or something like that. And it's like super durable. I've had it for like over a decade.
Whoa.
And it's, yeah, much thinner than like a leather wallet would be.
Yeah, and I don't like that it's leather either. Not down with it anymore. So I would do one of those things. Segway challenge. I feel like we're running out of space for this topic. Go ahead, Dave.
I have something I'm indifferent to, and that's shoelaces. Um, so like I really like shoes, and it's like a stupid thing that like I don't know. I'm always on my feet a lot at work, so like I always like comfortable shoes to wear. And ultimately it's like I can find a comfortable pair of shoes, but it's always like shoelaces always like they upset me a lot of times because they're generally like you can get a really nice pair of shoes. I got some Reeboks, but the shoelaces that came on the shoes are way too long. Like when you tie your shoes, the laces are super long and you can't like really trim them. Like I it's like I just spent $40 on shoes, which is a really good deal. But why should I have to buy my own shoelaces that are also going to fit the shoes? It should already fit them. Um, there are other. There's like On Cloud, which is a brand of like running shoes. They have like little plastic, like elastic, stretchy laces where you don't have to tie them. You can kind of just pull on them, and then like the little plastic thing on there will hold like the tension in the little shoelaces, so you don't have to tie them like a regular shoelace. And I really like those because then you can keep it kind of adjust it whether you want it tight or loose. You can use them like keep them loose and just use them as slip-ons. Or even if they're relatively tight, you can still just slip your on clouds on your feet. Um, and then like I feel like I saw a coworker just I think it was this morning. It was after I already made up this topic. He had like cut off his shoelaces on his shoes, and at Walmart he got like these metal grommets that you put towards the base of where your shoelaces are, and then you can just tie a knot, and then if you tie it in the right spot, it just keeps your shoes kind of loose, and it's that way. So like if you're older and you got like big feet and you don't want your shoes to be super tight because you're not going to like do anything athletic or go running, but it keeps your shoes and you don't have to worry about tying your shoes or them coming untied. And I was like, that's really interesting. I'm like, I have a couple pairs of shoes where I feel like I could just cut the laces off, put some like little metal grommets on the end where I want them to be, and then that way I don't have to bother tying my shoes anymore, and that would be nice.
That's what I kind of
Uh,
do with my daily wear shoes. I didn't put anything special on them, but I just kind of like pull them loose enough so that like what's left of the shoelace is only like, like a couple inches long, and then tied it together so it doesn't like pull through the hole, and call it good. And then like if I'm actually doing something like going legit hiking or something, I can pull it out a lot tighter and actually tie them up, but for day-to-day basis, don't need to do that.
I hate it, and I'm so grossed out when you go to a public restroom and your shoelace is on the floor. So gross because like I don't want to go buy new laces and stuff. But oh my gosh. I I recall in kindergarten I was either the only or the few that could tie their shoes at the beginning of the year. I remember that.
High
You
five. Good job.
Goldilock bears, more like the few who could tie their shoes.
The few, the proud.
The shoe tires.
Yeah.
I had a friend growing up and he couldn't tie his shoes. And like I went over to his house because like his mom was babysitting me. And like I we were gonna go outside to play and I tied my shoes in front of his mom. And his mom immediately goes to Eric and it's like, see, Eric, David knows how to tie his shoes. Why do you have Velcro? And like started shaming him. And I was like, I didn't mean to start shit. Like
Please tell. I wanted it to be Zach. I wanted him to be a stoner even when he was a kid. Like, why do I gotta tie things, man? Like,
Have you guys seen the TED Talk on how we're all tying our shoes wrong?
no.
no.
It's a very simple change that I adopted, and it does seem to help, but it's like basically where you get to the part um where you have the loops and you tie the loops together, you can go one side over or the other side over. And if you do it the quote unquote right way, the knot ends up being perpendicular to the shoe. So it goes like left to right the long way. And that's a much stronger knot. And if you do it the other way, that it kind of is at like a weird angle, almost more parallel with your shoe, and it's way more likely to come untied. And I found that after making just that small change, my shoes were way less likely to just come untied during the day, even if you don't double knot them.
Wow. Oh man, it would always suck when your shoelaces got caught in your chain of your bike.
Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah. That could be a nasty fall
Yeah,
sometimes.
I remember hearing horror stories about that. Like my mom would be like, make sure you don't wear those shoes. Don't wear those shoes biking. The laces are too long. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Growing up, we also had some advice because it was so real to us. Never bike with no shoes or socks because we had a cousin who her big toe or her toe got stuck in the chain and she
Oh,
doesn't have a toe today. So yeah,
Oh,
it sucks, right? Anyways, wow, didn't mean to bring us all down, but Segway challenge. Let's toss the toe into the woods and move on.
I was gonna say if I have to hear this topic anymore, they're gonna have to take my shoelaces away from me as a precaution.
Oh.
that's good.
All right, so I'll go. Oh boy, and here's my mystery. I still haven't decided which one to do.
Oh.
Fuck it. Let's do my love. I love drive-in movie theaters. I think it's a dying thing. You would think it would stick around after coronavirus. Just stay in your cars, people, you know? But anyways, what's so cool about it is that you're in your car, you park, there's a big screen in front of you, and then you either have the speaker on the post, you set it there, you could listen to the movie, or more modern times, there's a station that you get to tune in, so it just plays in all your speakers of your car, you know? You can bring in all the food you want, right? Doesn't matter. They do sell concessions, but who's going to do that if you could bring in your own stuff? Also, you could hide people in your van when you go in there. That's always fun. And yeah, I have some sweet memories of watching. See, I wrote down because they're almost always double headers or whatever
Double
that's called.
feature.
Yeah, double features. So I watched for sure Multiplicity and Independence Day. That was pretty awesome. And
Wow.
and then the last time I was there, it didn't go so well. It was Man of Steel and World War Z. So yeah,
World War Z was pretty good.
it was all right. It's okay. Man of Steel sucked though. Oh my God, that was terrible. But yeah, what do you guys say about drive-in theaters?
Check out my movie recollection. We talked about Man of Steel on maybe the first episode.
Yes, yes. That was the first movie that I didn't want to talk about too, because I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, didn't take long, did it?
No.
I don't think I've ever been to a drive-in movie.
Hmm.
I would like to, but I don't know if there's any around here. I feel like there might be, but yeah, just a opportunity never arose. I would totally love to do it. Like it's always like a staple of like on in movies and on TV shows. Like people are always doing it, and it looks fun when they're not getting murdered or whatever. And I'd like to try it.
Yeah, the movie Twister, right? Weren't they?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Dave, drive-in theaters.
I went to my first drive-in theater. I think I was like 5 years old, very young. But I remember like we were all. It was still daylight out when we got there because there was still like a half hour until the sunset, and that's when the movie starts. Is when the sun sets, which is like a lot like the 4th of July when you're waiting for the fireworks to go off, you got to wait till the sun goes down. So like all of us kids, there was like all the cars were parked there, and I just have vague memories of like there being like a bunch of group of kids that were just like running around and playing. And my mom was like, I don't know. Okay, yeah, you guys can play over there a little bit. And then, because like my mom was like, she wanted those kids to go away so she could smoke a cigarette or whatever. Because that's what my mom would always do whenever us kids like ran to play somewhere else. She just like whips out the pack of smokes. She's like, now those kids are gone. Light one up. And then I don't remember what movie it was, but I do feel like it was either like Stand By Me
Ooh,
or The War with Elijah Wood
nice.
or something like that. I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to check the timeline.
Well, Stand By
I,
Me is like in the 80s, I want to say, so it might have been that. The War was like in the mid 90s.
okay, so maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't either of those.
Oh,
Those are like in my imagination, like kind of fills in the gaps because I do remember the movie playing, but it was dark out and we're like all trying to look at the screen and I just like I fell asleep. I was probably sleeping like 20 minutes into the movie because I was so young. But as an adult, I've gone to a couple different drive-in theaters and I'm gonna be honest, like they were both letdowns, like both times. Once it was like uh How to Train Your Dragon or something. It's like an animated movie.
oh,
But it was
that Jay Bauman dude or whatever.
yeah, yes. And like Jonah Hill or something. I think he played one of the characters. And like it was like the movie wasn't that great. But the problem was is that I'm sitting in my car and it was a Saturn. Vince, you remember that Saturn?
Oh my gosh.
The little maroon Saturn. Like the chairs in like the seats in my car are not comfortable. And if you have to sit in that and you're kind of like you have to like slouch down a little bit because the screen is here, but like your car, like my car wasn't tilted like at the right angle, so I'm looking at the screen. So I gotta like slouch down to see the screen. And it was uncomfortable to sit in my car after like 35 minutes. And it was like at that point, I'm like, I could just be like sitting at home on my couch and I'd be way more comfortable. And it seemed like the only reason to go to a drive-in theater is I was looking around and I'm like, it's all like high school kids where one of the kids has their driver's license. Somebody has like an older sibling who bought them like beer or liquor or pot or something. And they got four kids into a van or a car or a truck. And they're all just like drinking beers and smoking weed. And it's just a random place to like do stuff they're not supposed to do. Because I heard that's how the one in Eau Claire shut down is the cops were always outside there and they were just pulling over high school kids giving them DUIs and then yeah because like the cops knew exactly what was up with that drive-in theater. They're like all these kids like they're all like the cars just stink of weed when they come out of that place.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess there's some flaws there, but that's to me that's like naughty fun. Like that's kind of what made it cool. Also, like if you don't like, think of when you're in a regular theater, you got some tall dude right in front of you, or like some people are talking and you're like, shut the fuck up, or like it's so good. You're in your own vehicle. It's so nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anything else about
I don't
drive-ins?
know, I do want to try it again. I know there's one in Tulsa and they do like 80s movie rewinds where they'll play like The Outsiders. They do like The Outsiders. I think it was filmed in Tulsa or takes place in Tulsa or something. So like that, I think every year on the anniversary or something, they always play it at the drive-in theater, and it's a big deal. Everybody goes and sees it. But they also have like different 80s movies. It could be like Back to the Future, or I don't know, just literally any 80s movie. Like they'll every week they have like one night where it's just like 80s movie night. And it's I don't know. And yeah, it is kind of just like, yeah, go in your car. I mean, we have like medical marijuana now. I'm sure people are just hitting their vape pens or whatever, watching old 80s movies. And it's like something to get out of the house and do something fun. And yeah, you're not in a because like that's one of my hates of a movie theater is just the people around you with the loud candy wrappers and the coughing and they're on their bright cell phone, and it's so annoying to like people talking during a movie. But like if you're contained in your car, you don't have to deal with the other moviegoers.
So awesome. Segue challenge.
Drive on out of here. Do the next one.
Go ahead, John.
I am ambivalent to acronyms. Being the computer guy I am, they're definitely useful and necessary. Like when we're talking shop, we're not gonna say like transmission control protocol every single time. We're gonna say TCP. Like it just like you just kind of have to. But the problem is like it makes like anyone who doesn't know like the lingo kind of an outsider. Like when you're just throwing these acronyms back and forth, and someone's kind of new, so they know some of the stuff, but they um, don't know everything yet, or if there's like specific things that you on your team use acronyms for that maybe isn't universally used that way, it just is confusing, and like um, people then can kind of feel stupid if they have to stop and ask what it is. Um, I know when I was at this genealogy conference and people would use like the acronyms in their field, like I would just like literally have to like raise my hand and ask like what do those letters mean? And then they'd tell me and I'm like, oh yeah, I understand what that phrase means, but I I had no idea. And now there's just so much stuff that acronyms are reused. So, like you might see the like BGP could mean three different things depending on the context. So it's like making it harder to understand what people are even talking about.
Wait, what was that last acronym? What was it?
It was just an example.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I Y K
YK.
Y K. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for saving me from that hell.
Well,
Oh
I do
gosh.
K, so I don't have to worry about not K'ing.
There's just so many letters in that, you know? If you
Yeah.
know, you
And there
know.
there are like awkward letters to say, even if, you know, like I don't mind saying um things like IRL in real life because it's just kind of a fun phrase to say. I don't know why. Like just
That's so mainstream now though, isn't it?
yeah. But I mean it's just kind of like it feels good coming off the tongue or whatever, like IRL. Whereas like IYKYK, like that that's never gonna, or like anything with a W in it just defeats the purpose. Like, you text like on my way OMW, like you would never say OMW in IRL.
Right. Okay, but then there's these weird acronyms where they get a life of their own, or it's a whole word now, like YOLO.
Oh yeah. Or like
Yeah.
when people say lol.
Oh, that's so odd. Yeah, that is very weird.
I did
Lol.
it for the lols.
I did it for the ruffles.
Oh, that's what I don't like. The roll on the fucking floor, or what is it? Roll on the roll
Roll
on
on the
the
floor laughing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not
But
every F stands for fuck, Vince.
but I'm like, you are not rolling on the floor. Like, I don't, there's a line I find because there's few people that I know in this life that actually roll on the floor for comedic effect or anything. And that's like Jesse and you, John, where you're like, oh, oh.
Well, that was more rolling on the ground in pain because we ate too much.
But still, I've yet to see anyone on the ground ever. You know? So I think ROFL should be taken off the list or whatever. Yeah.
How about LMAO? laughing my ass off.
Oh, right. I'm just thinking about that damn
Lamau.
band.
So like Luke will always use LMAO, and then I used it back at him. And then I was like, I'm never using it outside of this context because I'm like, he said it once, so then like I said it back to him a couple months later. I'm like, I would never say this in front of anybody else or type that to anyone else.
I kind of like this new one. I think it's new. FOMO, fear of missing out, because I had serious FOMO when I was younger, you know? So I
Yeah,
wish
for
that was
sure.
around just so I could
Yeah.
properly express myself at that time. Yeah.
My wife has recently been diagnosed with FOMO. Yeah.
Oh, damn
She
it.
like if like somebody has like a birthday party and she wasn't invited, she's like, I know I had to work, but I still wanted the invite. Like I just not like now that I know it's like she'll just be upset that she's aware that someone is having fun somewhere and now she's missing out and she hates it.
Oh, another word, another acronym that's become, or like people have to pronounce it NASA, not NASA, where I'm like, isn't it an acronym though? Isn't it?
Yeah, the National Aeronautic something something.
Yeah,
Space
Yeah.
Association
but
or
they get so picky about the pronunciation. I'm like, it's an acronym. That's
Yeah, but
crazy.
everybody says NASA. Like the people who work for NASA say NASA,
Yeah, but anyone could have they could have pronounced it NASA as well, right?
but they didn't.
But I know, but it's like it's in what's the other one? FOMO, could we have pronounced that something else? FUMU. It's still the same acronym, still the same four letters, you know what I'm saying?
you
Yeah,
remember
but like one thing just becomes popular, and that's the right way. That's like literally every word.
But oh my
Why don't we
gosh.
say ward? Like Lord, it's just word with an L.
I know, but those are words. Those aren't word isn't coming from wood or yeah,
well
you know what I'm saying?
it's like
Yeah.
FOMO is
GIF or GIF.
no, that's wait, are those acronyms? Is a GIF an
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
acronym?
the graphics interchange format.
Fine. You know what? I've pronounced it both ways, and I think that's right, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I know I mispronounce words, but I feel like if they're made up words or they're acronyms, I don't think there's a proper pronunciation. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm
There,
an
there's a
outsider.
there's a common pronunciation. I'm not going to say
Yes, there we
there's
go.
a right or a wrong necessarily,
I like
but
that more common. Yeah. It's just I remember I think I said NASA, maybe even as a joke, but someone was like, it's NASA. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. Like, sorry.
I mean,
Vince,
there's like nice and mean ways to correct people, that's for sure.
Vince, I remember you saying at some point you were saying we're talking about UFC and you were talking about the drug testing agency USADA,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think you called it like USADA, and I was like, what?
Yeah, but that's a fresh acronym, right? Because they weren't, well, in our minds, that was a fresh acronym, right?
It was in like 2016 or 2017,
Right.
like because they were new back then. And yeah, and you like we had never probably heard it said out loud. It was just you would read it on articles. And so then yeah, you kind of just make up your own pronunciation.
Okay, one of my favorites, and I'll probably fuck it up, is scuba,
Mhm.
self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That the acronym is cool, and so is those words. That's so
Yeah,
fun.
and somehow like it feels right. Like scuba just brings to mind the thing, like being underwater and being able to breathe.
This blows my mind. I had no idea that scuba was Scuba Steve.
Damn you,
It was an
scuba
ac-
Steve.
it was an acronym. I had no idea.
That's awesome. Anything about
I
acronyms? Oh,
so I just hate the ones that are like I I generally like them because like in the medical field, you have tons of like big words that like don't make any sense and they're hard to pronounce. So to just be able to like say like a TIA or a PE or a CTA, like that's fine. My problem is when you have certain things and they share the same acronym. Um, like I remember there was a movie and the letters on the side of the movie, it was an animated movie, said BFG. It was the big friendly giant.
Oh,
And in
friendly.
my yeah, and I'm like BFG is something totally different. If any like video game players ever played Doom, you had the BFG, the big fucking gun.
Ooh, right.
And so like that's what that meant, BFG. So the like big friendly giant, I don't know. I'm like that means something else to me. I'm like, don't steal that.
Well,
Actually,
go ahead.
well, there's like ones that are like the opposite of what they used to be too. Like in software, there's a concept of an MVP, a minimum viable product, which basically like what's the lowest amount of features and functionality this product could have, but we could actually sell it. Which is like the exact opposite of like the most valuable player. Like,
Yeah.
like here's like who went above and beyond, who was the best at what they did, to now like what's the least amount of work we could do but still make money.
I
If
swear that's what
you're
like management does at my hospital where I work. They're like, what's the least amount of stuff we can provide?
if you're a single woman, Bob means something else to you. Battery operated boyfriend. Oh, and then in the UFC, Rafael dos Anjos. That's a lot of that's a mouthful, right? But people call him RDA, and it works. I love that. RDA, so sweet.
I love just using three-letter acronyms for actors who go by three names. But we already ran into ATJ,
Oh, right.
Anya Taylor-Joy, and what's that guy's name?
Austin
Yeah,
Tyler Johnson, I think. Right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I'd be VDC. That's not really catchy though. VDC.
No, mine's not either. This is the vowel.
J,
Jan.
J Jan.
Jan.
That's
Jan.
fun. Jan, yes.
Jan. I like that, Jan.
Dave, I don't remember your middle name. What is it?
James. DJL.
Sounds like a
Sounds like
speaker
Yeah.
company.
yeah, it sounds like a DJ, like DJ Matty Nice. Something.
All right. Segue challenge.
That's GTFO.
Oh, Dave, closing us up.
Okay, here's my mystery topic.
Bow.
I was thinking of this on my drive home because I happened to drive by one of these. I'm indifferent to it. I'm indifferent to car washes. Um, car washes, like I don't really care how clean my vehicle is because it's not really that nice. It's more of a utilitarian thing. I just use it to get around. Whether it looks nice, I don't care. Um, but like car washes, anytime like they're super expensive. Like it used to be back in the day, I feel like you pay $5-6 and you get a car wash. Now it's like the cheapest one is like $12, or you can get like $15 or $18. And they have like different tiers of car washes. And those are like the automatic ones. And it's like, well, I don't want to do the automatic one. Maybe I'll just go to the one where I'll wash it myself. And those you put in like $1 in quarters and it gives you like 45 seconds. And you're like, okay, this is going to take a while. And you're like, you turn it on and like the water pressure is like barely there. There's like hardly any water pressure. And like when you use the soap first, it puts on globs of thick soap. So when you turn on the rinse with barely any water pressure, you're like, man, I can barely, I need more quarters. Yeah, and they like design it so you have to shove more quarters and it takes more time because they don't give you the proper water pressure to rinse this stuff off. The super thick soap. Um, and I don't know. And like I've tried like different car washes around town, and I've come to the conclusion I'm like I kind of hate them all. And I did find one for a while that was really good and it was cheap. It was like $7. But then I don't know, word got out that it was too cheap, or the owners figured it out and they raised the price on it. Um, I don't know. I kind of I'm kind of over car washes. I don't hate them because they like are kind of necessary if there's like bad weather, if there's like salt on the roads in the winter time and you have a lot of salt on your car and you want to wash it off. So there's sometimes it's necessary, but for the most part, I will wash my car like twice a year. Usually after if I go on like a long trip and I have like just bugs everywhere and I can't really clean it off myself.
Well, it's so much fun though when you get to stay in the car and it's moving through all the soaps and stuff, right? That was always fun. And then there was that movie Car Wash from like the 70s. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Movies like
Uh,
that, how could you not want to wash your car?
it's so funny. I thought about that today. I was driving around and I was gonna get to my place, but I was gonna cut through like the nicer part of town. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I bet my vehicle's kind of crappy looking because I can't remember the last time I had it washed. And it was a pretty nice day out today. So yeah, I felt very subconscious about it. And I'm like, I wish I could distract while I drove through. I know. Yeah. What do you say, John?
If they didn't use salt on the road, I don't think I'd ever wash my car. Like, um, I think I like the car wash I use is reasonably inexpensive, and it's like you just park and it like pulls you through or whatever. But I think it's bad because I think like it's hitting your car with these like flappy things, which are probably like scratching the paint and stuff. Like it's probably not good for your car to do that. But I'm like, but it's so easy. I don't have to get off my lazy ass.
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead.
there's definitely like a certain group of guys who are like the truck guys or the car guys that are like super like I just bought if they have like a new truck or car, they don't ever use like they have to use like the touch-free car wash
Oh
where
yeah.
nothing touches because they're like, oh, you could get a grain of sand on there and it could scratch up your hood. And I'm like, I guess. But like, I don't know. If I had like a super nice vehicle, I would if I had that type of money, I could probably just buy a pressure washer and clean it in my own driveway and not go to some like car wash. I don't
I mean,
know.
why don't people just have their servants wash their cars with silk sponges? Like, why don't they just all do that?
Oh, Shotsworth. You missed the spot. I'm sorry, sir. Well, oh, you know what though? The self-cleaning thing, that was fun. Get the power hose and shit. That was always fun for me. I don't think we really had a problem with the pressure. Um, yeah.
I do like in Oklahoma, I feel like there's way more car washes. People are way more into car washes in Oklahoma, and I don't understand the appeal of it. Um, I know it's like drier here, so there's like lots more like dust and like sand and like the dust kind of like if you don't wash your vehicle, depending on like the color of your vehicle, but if it's like black or white, like the dust shows up a lot more prevalent. Um, and there's a new car wash in town, and they have like a Netflix subscription service. So like you subscribe to the car wash and like you pay $25 a month and you get as many car washes as you want. And it's like am I really going to use $25 worth of car washes in a month? Like,
Wow.
I don't know. And it's like in all the car washes, they all have vacuums afterwards. And they have a long, like in Wisconsin, I felt like they would have like 2 or 3 vacuums after the car wash. In Oklahoma, it looks like a Sonic like drive up, drive in, where there's like 15 to 20 vacuums after the car wash. And you're like, there's no possible way all of these would ever be used at the same time, but they build it like that, and like there's tons of people always vacuuming out their car, and I'm like, I look at the floor of my truck and I'm like, I'll get it in 6 months. Like I'll do it once a year, like the vacuuming, and I usually do it like in June or something, just so I have it clean for the summer. But yeah.
Though we have something like that in Eau Claire where, yeah, there's like row upon row of these circular things. And to me, I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. It looks like H.G. Wells' Time Machine. That's what I thought. I was like, oh shit, that'd be cool. But I do have to include in the movie Dazed and Confused, when the girls are getting hazed, they are put into a pickup truck at the, in the back, and they are driven through the car wash. That was pretty sweet. Yeah. Yeah, that's the show, I want to say. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. Go to a few goldilockbears.com and tell someone about this show. If you like it, spread it out. I was Vincent Cloud.
Go to your favorite podcast app, subscribe, give us a positive rating. I'm John Nemitz.
And maybe you're indifferent to the podcast now, but maybe you're technically on the fence. And if you're on the fence, you might love it later. And I'm David Lauer.